When I was little, I grew up in a small neighborhood with a bunch of boys. And after we finished homeschool for the day, we rode our bikes around, went fishing, swimming, climbing trees, and any other fun thing a kid does outside. When I was 8, we went to an after-school program 2 days a week. And I was excited to play with all the other kids. But no one was playing. They were all playing on their Game Boy. And everyone had one except me. It didn't matter what I tried. No kid wanted to play when they had their own personal screen. This was my first experience with the isolation devices create. As I got older, I wanted to have adventures, go explore. But everyone's heads were still down. And instead of Pokemon on a Game Boy, it was Instagram and Snapchat on a smartphone. I was 13 when I started to feel real grief. I had no idea what, but I knew something was gone. Okay, so here's the part where this could turn into another talk about how kids should get their face out of their phones, go outside, and talk to people. That's already been said so many times, and it's having no effect. It's because it misses the real problem. The real problem is that an entire ecosystem has been lost. Let me help you understand what I mean by that. Imagine a herd of antelope roaming and grazing the grass of a beautiful savanna. As they roam, they're contributing to their own ecosystem. Now imagine someone introduced feed bins. The antelope stay near the bins. They no longer have to roam and graze the savanna. All the animals stop roaming, creating an unnatural order. Over time, the entire ecosystem of the savanna becomes an unrecognizable wasteland. I've heard my parents tell stories of the savanna. Teenagers roaming the mall, hanging out at the arcade, going on dates. If they wanted to connect with someone, they had to go see them. They were forced out of their house, past their insecurities, and into the wild. There was no other option. And so they did. Everyone did. That was normal. That healthy ecosystem encouraged real connection. Okay, I want you to really understand what I'm saying. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to bring up some of your favorite memories as a teenager with your friends. All the times you hung out, the mall, the dumb stuff you did together. Put yourself back in those memories. Okay, now put those images in a line. Now delete the first one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Okay, open your eyes. Imagine the landscape of your memories as a teenager without any of that. It's a bit of a wasteland, isn't it? The ecosystem for those experiences doesn't exist anymore. And it's worse than that. Remember all those immature moments you had as a teenager? Those moments are meant to evaporate. Now they're permanent. Because of that, we live under constant scrutiny. We don't get the luxury of just being an immature teenager. We have to watch everything we do and say. Anything can be captured and made permanent. This creates an unsustainable level of anxiety and unnatural pressure. Teenagers judging each other and being insecure is normal and natural, and we can deal with it if the moments evaporate like they're meant to, but they don't. We're anxious because we have to constantly sleep with one eye open in this wasteland. I'll never forget the morning at school I decided to notice. The girl walking next to me, on her phone. Every kid sitting on a bench lining the courtyard, on their phones. I only saw 3 kids not on their phone. These devices aren't connecting us. They're isolating us next to each other. I knew I needed to make a change. I thought I'd just not go on my phone as much. I deleted Snapchat, added it back. Deleted social media, added it back. I charged my phone outside my room, then I just charged it in my room and be back where I started. Trying to change my behavior was exhausting. Then it hit me. I'm the kid sucked into the Game Boy. If there was no Game Boy, we would have all played together. That's when I decided to get rid of my smartphone completely. So at 15, I got a flip phone and became isolated in a completely different way. There were times when I felt like there was no winning. I made all the changes. I put down my phone. I tried to talk to people. I spent time off social media. But because everyone else was still sucked in, and I do mean everyone, it didn't matter what I did. I was just back to being the only kid without a Game Boy. If we're not careful here, you could miss the whole point of this talk. So listen closely. Kids are lonely, not only because we won't put away our phones, but because when we do, there's nothing for us to turn to instead. We don't actually want our phones or social media or Snapchat. What we want is real connection. But that doesn't happen naturally in this new ecosystem. Everything that naturally breeds real connection has been lost. The new ecosystem breeds isolation. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's human connection. Addiction happens when someone is isolated. We don't want to be addicted, but what choice do we have when we're living isolated no matter what we do? I know adults are frustrated because kids won't get their faces out of their phones, but I'm inviting you to understand the real problem and to have some compassion for us, because we're starving in a wasteland while you tell us to get back out there onto a savanna that no longer exists. I'm not here to help you feel good. I'm here to help you feel how bad kids feel. I've learned how to create an oasis in this wasteland. More and more of my friends are joining in. They don't go on their phones when we hang out. They don't record anything for the most part. And for a couple hours, when we hang out at the dock, playing cards, laughing, and telling stories, I imagine the possibility of roaming wild and free.